G'day people, I'm Sharon and welcome. Over the course of about 6 weeks I was presenting videos about how I made this cover for my Janome 2000D Airthreader. It's an Overlocker and it's a bit bigger than average size, and I wanted a nice cover for it. I was making it up as I go along, and now that I've got it completed I wanted to tell you what were the final numbers of bits and pieces that I made. If you're interested in doing something like this, pop along to my website sharonsdesigns.com.au, pick up the 100 design set, which will give you a huge number, 100 different designs that you can use for doing all sorts of different things, making quilts, making bags, lots of things. You would also need to get, for this particular machine, a sashing set. It's not necessary for everything, but it does add a little bit to what you can do with the 100 design set. The first video in the series showed you how to make a quilted square, how to hoop up the backing fabric, the wadding and the top fabric to stitch it out, and even how to cut it out. It takes less than 5 minutes, I think, to do this design. It's really pretty quick, and in fact in the 100 design sets you get each of these designs in 5 different sizes, so it makes it a lot easier to stitch a bigger quilt or whatever just by increasing the size of the design, and that's only limited by your embroidery machine. The next video showed how to stitch out a design that has a T in its name. These designs usually have extra wadding in a particular part of them to give that a bit of 3D. But I also showed you how to make it just a normal design. Once again, the design doesn't take too much time to make, especially if you've removed the trapunto section of it. My sashings are designed to go with the squares. So a 14 centimetre square needs 14 centimetre sashing. Where a vertical piece of sashing and a horizontal piece of sashing come together, you need a corner square. If you are sewing 11-inch blocks, there are 11-inch sashings to go with it. What you have to do is just make sure you're getting them out of the same size groups. To make the front and the back of the Overlocker cover, I needed 8 sashing pieces for each panel, plus 4 little corner sashing pieces, because when you've got sashing meeting sashing, you have to have a little corner piece. When you're putting together your side panels, you need to have one for the left side and one for the right side, and that means putting them together with one like this, although you probably only have a half of that square, and then you need to put this on the other side and only have half of this square, and that way you can get two that are for opposite sides of the cover. The entire cover required 15 squares, 24 sashing strips and 10 sashing corners. The lining for it was under a yard or under a metre. I don't really know because I'm just using up stash and I've got a lot of it. It is completely possible for this entire cover to be made on the sewing machine. I didn't choose to because I like hand stitching binding down. I know, I'm weird like that. But it is perfectly possible if you don't want to do any hand stitching at all. Follow my directions on how I join Quilt As You Go squares together. My Janome 644D is a much more standard size, and I've got a really fun idea for making a cover for that. It will probably not be a big long series, but hopefully I can show you how you can adjust something to make an Overlocker cover that looks really, really cute. In the meantime, please keep sewing, because that's the best way to learn. By plugging away at it, you get the muscle memory, and hopefully you've also learned through this series how I think my way through making a particular thing. I'll see you next time.